Hello. Hey everybody. What's up? What's up? Hear me? Okay? My sound good? Heyo. Hello. Ah, good morning. Hey. Turn my volume up a little bit? Okay, what if I just talk normally? I know my voice is like kind of silent. Okay, how about now? Alright. So does my voice sound okay now? Talking. It's good to you? Okay. 2 a.m. for you. Wow. That's good. Okay, yeah. It's just, early in the morning. I didn't want to raise my voice, but I guess I will now. Okay, so hello everybody, and welcome to the stream. Today I'm gonna teach you guys how to draw mechs, and in case you didn't know, our growing community is filled with tons of art nerds, and we art nerds have to stick together. If you're an art nerd too, be sure to check out our links to our social media in the description below, and check out our website for our class offerings where you could get critique, guidance, and encouragement from instructors, because we're not just a YouTube channel, we're an art school too. If you'd like to support us, so we could keep making free content, consider supporting us by becoming a YouTube member for exclusive channel perks like emotes and sub badges, or supporting us on Patreon for as little as $2 per month, where you can get access to tons of perks like my working files, critique sessions, class recordings, and huge discount on our classes that have limited amount of spots, so be sure to check out those before they're gone. So, yeah, with that out of the way, let's get started. So let me get my notes here. So I feel like the biggest thing that we have to keep in mind here is okay, let me define what a mech is first actually. So today's stream I want to teach you guys how to build a mech design from the ground up, and I want to go over guidelines to keep in mind, how to draw 3D shapes that you would need, and more. And by the end you guys are gonna help me out, how design a mech. And what won the poll was a slim and winged mecha. So yeah, let's get started. So to define a mech, a mech is a giant robot that is piloted by a human. So it's pretty much a vehicle, it's not a character like it would be with like Optimus Prime. He's not a mecha, he's his own character, But a mecha, it's piloted by a human. And, despite this, even though this it has that slight difference, you could still use the stream to design any giant robot. So yeah, the first rule I want to talk about is the 70-30 rule. So the 70-30 rule, it's generally like a good ratio to keep in mind when designing anything. So basically, you have 70% of one thing and 30% of the other. So in this case, the 70% I want it to be is human, and then the other 30% would be robot. So this 70% human would basically be from the proportions. So most of its proportions will be human-like, and the other 30% would be the robot part, and that's where how would I describe it? Well, actually I can describe it later when we draw. So for example, if I wanted to draw like a proportion of a mecha, boop. So let's say this is a normal human, right? Let me draw real quick. Right here. Now this would be a good proportion already, but I think it's too human personally. So the 30%, you know, it has to be 30% and not 100% like this. Well, you could make it like superhuman like, but it's not interesting, you know? You could make it way more cooler. So for example, maybe the head is like smaller, maybe, okay, let's keep that smaller head, and maybe body's way bigger, you know, the upper body, then maybe the lower body is a bit smaller, but then we keep like the arms like that, and we keep the legs. So this is already like better than before. It's still like vaguely human, you know? And oh no, it's fuzzy for you? Yeah, try adjusting because it's fine on my end. Okay. Or another example would be, what else? Maybe this time, you know, the body is like thinner. This. Maybe you could exaggerate the waist a little bit. And it has like big limbs. So you could really play with the proportions. Like even though it's human-like, try to add like little twists to it. Because you don't have limits to it. So these are just like example proportions here. And here. Maybe I'll keep it here. And then another good example would be the face, actually. So, yeah, can draw Raiden after this? Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I mean he's more of a cyborg than like a mech. I don't think there's no tiny person piloting Raiden. But yeah, the face. I feel like this one is a big one because if you make your mech like very human-like this one. Okay, let me try and draw a quick human face. So, you know, this is a normal human. Like that. So if you try to draw a mech and it looks something like this, you just put like, you know, like screws and panels on it. I feel like you're kind of missing out if you just make it like a giant human. So I feel like an interesting thing that you could do is remember the 70-30 rule, right? So maybe instead of copy paste, instead of keeping it like 90% like human like, maybe you could omit some features right here. So maybe you could remove like the nose. Like that. But keep the mouth, you know, in case you want to. And then you could really exaggerate the eyes, actually. Yep. Yep. And then don't just make it like human-like. This is where the other 30% comes from. You know, maybe they look like they're wearing like a helmet or something. What's the 70-30 rule? So simple as keeping 70% of something and then 30% of the other, right there. So it could be for anything, you know. Doesn't have to be just for, you know, 70% human, 70% or 30% robot. This rule is actually used for designing like buildings too, for like shows and stuff. So like let's say it's 70% modern and like 30% fantasy, you know, something like that. Yeah. And there. So yeah, basically this is like a quick mecha head. So yeah, keep the 70-30 rule in mind. Very helpful. Let me merge my notes here. Oh, yeah, keep this out of the way there. Yeah, 1730. And now I want to talk about 3D shapes because this is a really important skill to have. 3D, or actually keep that separate layer. Shapes. BT. Yeah, I wish I played Titanfall too. I didn't get the chance to. Maybe at some point. But my friends tell me it's really good. So yeah. So yeah, it's important to get your 3D shapes right, you know? Because literally, you know, let's say I'm drawing this cylinder here. You know, this cylinder could be anything. Right here. So, this cylinder could be like a building. You know, I'm gonna design a building right now. So if you know your 3D shapes well, if you practice it well, you're gonna design like a tower on the cylinder. There. And there's it a little bit. So the cylinder could be like a building, or oh, I accidentally copied the or it could be a person. So if you really get like a hold of your 3D drawing here, you could really draw anything. I always tell people to practice, you know, getting used to... Oh, maybe the arm is a bit too out there. Always practice this. There. There. Quick person. Let me get you out of the way. Oh, I don't... Where is it? My notes. Oh. There we go. How about a mech that is just a cannon with teeny tiny legs? Yes, that works. Wait, the 70-30. Well, it's more like the proportions. It doesn't literally mean like they're 30% human. Just like human elements, you know, like in this case I was talking about the proportions right there. I'm not talking about like, oh, there's 70% flesh, you know. I'm talking about like the proportions, basically. So 3D shapes. Yeah, this is a really important skill to have because if you know your 3D shapes, you can break down complicated shapes into simpler shapes. Simpler shapes. Right there. I'm catching up on catching up on the chat here. So much activity happening. Anyway. Right here. So yeah, if you're having trouble actually with having 3D shapes, like how to draw like a cube from like different angles, you know, I highly suggest like getting clay and then making the shape and then using that as your reference. It's really helpful. Back in the day, that's how I used to practice. I used to make the shapes I wanted to make, and then I would draw it. And then at some point, you know, you just get used to it, and then you could just draw 3D shapes out of your head. Very useful skill to have. So I'm gonna try to draw like quick, whatchamacallit, quick breakdown, I'd say. Quick sketch, maybe, using just simple shapes. And maybe slightly here. Maybe that's a bit much, actually. Yeah, this is just like a quick demo of that. Doop. And doop. So yeah, we already got like good proportion here going. Right there. Yeah, you could also use Blender. That's also really good because it's free. And if you're willing to like plunge to Blender, learn all that, totally. That's a really good suggestion, actually. Sorting my notes here. And then mobility. Okay, let's do this next. Move along. I think mobility is a big one. This is a big one to keep in mind when you're designing your mech. So, always remember, you know, when we're designing a mech, we are not making a human. A human. Human. It's free! Yeah, Blender's free! So we are not making a human. So, you know, bodily limitations, like let's say twisting your arm, right? Let's say, you know, you have your palm up right there. And if you twist it, you know, there's like a limit to it. It's probably like you can't do like a full 360 with your arm. You probably only rotate it until like right here. You know, that's a limit. It's a limitation. But for robots, you know, it doesn't matter. So maybe you could have like an arm that just like fully rotates 360. 360. And maybe humans are like 270? Maybe? I don't know. Something like that, but you know what I mean. You can't twist your arm fully. So remember that. Keep that in mind. And I feel like this is the one you should take the most time on. Take the most time on this. And that's because, you know, this is what pretty much decides how you would design it. You would design around the mobility. Design around mobility. And making pistons. Yeah, the pistons I'd say are pretty advanced. In this stream, I don't think I would cover it, just because I don't feel the need to. But you know, if you feel encouraged to, then yeah, definitely do feel free. And then another thing, right? It's not just about, you know, limitless movement. So like, let's say a waist bend like this, right? I don't think that's necessary for our mech to have like a waist bend like this. So maybe our mech, it's just like, you know, just the upper torso, and then the waist, and then the pelvis right here. It doesn't bend, you know, like a human would, but that's okay. Because I don't feel the need to add it to my mech, maybe. Unless it's like really important to you, then maybe you could add like, you know, the classic, like this pattern. I don't know what to call this, but it's like a common like design feature that they do to make it flexible. It's like plated? Fluted? Yeah, kind of like armor, exactly. So like right here, you know, our mech body may not be able to twist like a human would, but it could do like a full 360 again, probably. You know, it could rotate. So maybe like that. You know, it could rotate the body, even though still at the front, like that. And then the head. So yeah, keep it in mind when you're designing your mech. Mobility is very important. And then another thing, right, is you could get creative with how you do stretches. So like, let's say we're gonna do an arm raise right here. So maybe if a human were to raise his arms, it'd be like this, you know, they'd start off. Let me clear up some space actually. Maybe if a human were to raise his arms, start with a T, and then they'd raise up their arms like that. So maybe for our mech design, what we could do is have the circle, and then have like this U shape right here. And then basically, this U shape could rotate like that. This Y shape, I should say. That like goes up. So that's like one design I could think of for arm raise, right? So you could get really creative with it. So you decide, let me write that down actually. Decide what movements to add and remove. And I'm trying to catch up on chat here. You get really caught up in like writing notes. Oh, okay. It's perfect that you mentioned that, like the mechanical stuff. Okay. Do you recommend any books or artists to learn? I think it's always good. If you're starting off, this is really funny, but a good way to start off is look for reference, but don't look up like, oh, like super robot reference. Well, it's good to look up, but look up stuff like hinges, like door hinges, like that. Any like good like ways or good mechanisms that move. Or maybe buy like an action figure. That's another thing. Another easy way to figure out mobility, how stuff works. Because if you figure out how things move, right? Especially for an action figure, this is a good example, or a doll. You could then look up like other stuff that help out with the process. This is like really advanced, by the way. And let's say like stuff that gets raised uses a piston, like one of them mentioned here. So you could start experimenting basically. So I say start off simple, you know, like look up good hinges and like stuff that moves, and then go advanced, you know. It's always a good way to start off simple. And since somebody mentioned like, you know, detailing robots is really hard, it's good. It leads up to our next part, greeble. Have you guys heard of the word greeble before? Greebling slash greebling. It's like one of my favorite words. Anybody? Greeble. Nah. Okay, let me show you what greebling is. Because you probably know what it is. I wouldn't say it's a no-no. It's just like a suggestion. You know, because I feel like designing mechs are so overwhelming, right? So I highly suggest like keeping it simple for yourself. Like I am right now. Yeah. Really simple. So, greebling. You know, this is a normal cube. Let me list them. It's a cube. It does nothing. It just sits there, right? But if I greeble it, okay. Boop. About to greeble all over this cube. Boop, boop. This is like a design technique. You see it a lot in Star Wars, yeah. Boop. Then maybe like add an air vent right here. That. Then maybe there's like lights and a panel right there. Maybe a few pipes. That. And what else? What else can I add? Maybe there's like a deeper part here. Deep deep. Maybe there's like a grid design. Bunch of screws again. And maybe some sort of like light. Deep deep. And what else? Maybe some panel lining over here. There. So basically this is what greebling is. So, you know, it's still a cube. It still does nothing. Does nothing. But it looks cooler. Basically, it's a technique you see a lot in Star Wars, like for example the Star Destroyer. You know, if you break down the Star Destroyer without like all its like designs, it's pretty much just like this shape, right? Boom, I just drew like a Star Wars cheese ship right there, and then boom. But then if you look at the Star Destroyer, it has all these like unnecessary looking detail, you know, it's like really busy, and it gives off the illusion that it's something like complicated, when really it's just the shape. It's like a pie shape, you know, it has like lines and stuff, and a bunch of like different panels that you don't know what they do, you know. Exactly, it's just a Dorito ship. Or like the AT-AT walkers, you know, they're just like, it's just a truck with legs, really. That's what it is. It's just a truck they give like 4 legs to, and that. Yeah, so I definitely like encourage looking up what greebling is. It's a greeble. So that's like the simple gist of it. So yeah, with that out of the way, I think we could get started now. After all that. Transformer made. If you can't do poses. I see. So if you can't do poses, you know, I highly suggest like practicing 3D shapes. And if you can't do that, like I mentioned earlier, buy some clay. Buy some clay and then make your person, you know, as reference. And then make them do their thing. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Greebling is just a simpler shape, cooler with details. More or less, that's like the gist of it. Yeah, like any form of clay, really. As long as it holds a pose, then it should be good. So yeah, I guess it's time to actually like design this guy. And what won the poll was slim and winged. So yeah, let's get started here. So I'm gonna start off with my 3D shapes, like I mentioned. Right here. And separate this into a different layer. Okay, so it has to be slim. And I don't know, I don't feel too comfortable like using too many squares, I think. At least for now. So like slim. Usually to make things slim, a technique I like to do is making the limbs really long. And that. And right there. Maybe like that. Looks kind of slim. Of course, the important part, the wings. So maybe I want wings that look like this. I kind of don't like this silhouette. Maybe I'll try again. Right there. Got a lot of mechs in your room. Yeah. Use your figures as reference. Okay, so I like the chest and like the body area, so maybe I'll exaggerate it. Yeah, so when you're designing something, don't be afraid to like make mistakes and don't get too attached to one design. You know, we're only in the early stages here. So what I did was I tried to figure out what I liked about the first design and then keeping it for the next design. So I really like the limbs too. So I'll keep that maybe. And maybe this time the wings are like going back like that. Because I really don't like the silhouette of this one. Because I want something that looks good from each side, not just the front view. Because I feel like if you look at this guy from the side view, it's gonna look kind of lame. You know, like the wings are just like that. Like kind of flat. Or like that. It doesn't look very interesting from the side. So I guess with that in mind, maybe I should draw this in 3/4 view. Gundam? Yeah, there's a little bit of greebling actually for Gundam. So like, let me draw like a Gundam right now. Dude. I have a Gundam here right now next to me, so. So like the skirt I guess would be like a good example of greebling. Like honestly, they could just keep it as like a square like this. This is the classic Gundam. Right there. I guess this is a form of greebling. Like, what does this square do? Like, it doesn't really do anything, you know? It's just there to look cool. Or like another example would be like the other Gundams, you know, they instead of keeping the skirts like plain like this, they add like vents right here. I mean, it does have a purpose, you know, but like, yeah. Where is it? I guess I would say the panel lining is the greebling for Gundam. So like you'd add like these panels. So it could be as subtle or as like overt as you want it to be. My voice sounds kind of... I'm flattered. Thank you. But yeah, I love Gundam. I'd say it's a good reference for this. So anyway, back on track. I mentioned I wanted to do like a 3/4 view because I want it to look good from the front, the side, and the back. So this is like right there. Yeah, this is also why I really encourage learning how to draw in 3D because you get good spatial awareness. So like let's say, you know, if I draw a circle like this, it's straight up, you know, the front view. But then something as simple as like, okay, now the circle is right here, and the circle is right there. It says so much about your drawing. So now, it's as if they like turned to our left, basically, their right. So now I'm gonna keep the slim build here. Yeah, the Pacific Rim mechs, they're crazy. Like, if you've seen how they made it, they actually got the best of the best, and they like put them in a room for like a week or something like that, and then they just designed like realistic mechs. Like, that's like the best of the best. So maybe the wings are going back like this one. Okay. I'll keep it simple, you know? Just like a surfboard looking. This one. And I made the body like bigger so that it looks like it could support the wings here. Because I wouldn't want it to be like, you know, tiny and all of a sudden like big wings, you know? It doesn't feel proportionate. So I'll keep that. And maybe I'll start adding like a few details now. So like I mentioned earlier, I don't think I want like a waistband. I don't think that's something I prioritize, so I'll keep that. Alright, see you around. I mean, the video's still gonna be up. Just won't be live anymore. Hello. And Yeah, sometimes I do like old-fashioned mechs, because sometimes, modern mm, robots, I guess, giant robots, they get too complicated, you know? Like an example I could think of is the Transformer movies. They look too complicated, like for us to understand. Yeah, and so far I'm really liking what I'm coming up with here for the wings. Maybe I'll make this smaller right here. Doop. Oh, actually, this is one of the things I forgot to mention in mobility. I want to teach you guys a really specific joint method. So, like, let's say you're designing an elbow, right? The most common design I see is this design. Like that. It has one joint. This one. So that's pretty good, you know? Let me copy paste it. So if it only has one joint, it could bend like this. Let me fix that. And let me put the pivot right there. So this is like the full imitation of it. Boom. To its extreme. Oh, I should have drawn this on a different layer. That's okay. I'll keep it like that. So it looks pretty cool, but this is the limitation of it. It's just an L shape. So I want to teach you about double joints right here. You could see this a lot in Gundam. This is a really good and simple way, actually, to make it more mobile suit. Right here. Yeah, Lego. Lego's still good though. Like Bionicles and like normal Lego mechs. Like they're still good for referencing mobility. So, if it's double jointed like this one, I'll show you right here. Copy, paste. And there. And I'll put the pivot right there. So it could bend like this. And then here. And then it could bend like that. So pretty much it could do like a full arm bend if it were a real arm right here. I'm gonna put it on the side. I should put a hand actually for reference. Like that. This is the hand. So this is double joint. Two joint. So this is a really like good technique to do instead of like the single joint. Right there. There's way more mobility. And if you want to draw it, it's basically just like this. Like just like that. Imagine like two rectangles, this is your arm, and then this is your forearm right here with the hand. Basically just draw like a square. Could be as simple as that. And then draw like two joints to keep it in mind for yourself. And here. Right there. Keep it aside here. What time is it? Okay, making good time. So going back to designing here, if you're doing this on pen and paper, use as much paper as you need. Don't be shy. Right there. Some of the joint part. Interesting. It's lagging. Everything seems fine on my end. So maybe you just need to refresh or something. It's all good. Yeah. What they said. So far, I really like the second design. But I want to experiment. Because I think adding a backpack... I don't want to add a backpack. For the wings. So maybe I'll just add like a backpack-like shape. So maybe I'll draw like circle. There. So maybe there's like something sticking out at the back. That's where it attaches. So maybe I should draw it from the profile actually, to show what I'm thinking of right here. So if this is the side view, right? This is the arm. That I was thinking of something like this, where like sticks out. Then like that. And then actually, here's a tip for people using digital. Right here. So I started to do this earlier. But this cross thing, you know, in the center, that's basically the pivot where it transforms to when you rotate. So what I could do right here is I'm going to put the pivot on where the screw is right here. And then that way it would rotate just like that. So I could see like how it would rotate like that. So maybe it could rotate like that fully, the jet. So yeah. Or maybe I could add like a rail here too. So like if I add this rail, maybe it could move like this to and fro like that through the rail. So maybe I'll keep that design. So yeah. Yeah, you just need to refresh. Welcome back to non-lag world. Okay, let me pull out my notes actually. Doot. And doot. Let me see. So also for the backpack thing, I'll do a top view. It won't be like a full thing, so it'll look like this basically when we're done. So this is the wings right here, and then this is the arms, something like that. So it'll be really like back heavy. So maybe I should draw like an oblong right here, like a pill shape, and then this is slightly bigger. So like that. And then the wings. Or maybe like right here. And draw the wing shape. Also, here's the thing about mechas, you know, it could be as complicated or as simple as you want them to be. So I'm just making mine a little bit complicated. Like, I didn't have to make these shapes, really. Like, there's probably like a simpler solution. But I think this looks cooler. It's as simple as that. Just do what you think looks cool and original. And then maybe a bit too up. Keep it down there. Yeah, Doomfist. Yeah, Doomfist is my favorite like hero to play in Overwatch 1. Yeah, I guess if I were to draw him, I would like keep it simple, you know, like he's really a complicated character, especially his arm. But the first thing I would do is figure out the anatomy of an arm. So like how it bends, you know, like how it would work. And then try to look at Doomfist's arm and like see what works. So I'm gonna try to draw it from memory. So it looks like something like this. It has spikes, his arm, and then the giant fist right here. And then he has like a piston, if I remember right. Something like that. And spikes. Yeah. It's really complicated actually. Maybe I won't go too deep into it. But if I were to give a tip, you know, figure out how the arm works, and then look at Doomfist, you know, like how the mechanics work, look into it, and then try to draw it yourself. Hello. Welcome. Yeah, maybe this looks a bit too back heavy actually, so maybe I'll move it back. Right there. And so do that. And then the head right there. Maybe I'll make the head a little bit bigger. Because I gotta remember, this is still like a slim mech. Right there. And then... yeah, it's really back heavy because of the wings. And right here, actually, I should say this. I'm trying to keep in mind the center of the circle. And in this case, it's right here. Like that. Then a slim waist. And then body here. And then I guess I should draw the center line here just so you guys could picture it with me. Because I have it in my head, but I'm gonna draw it just so picture it well with me. Right there, and then I'll put the legs. Yeah, I guess maybe to make it easier for myself, I'll draw them like flying. And I wonder if it would look cool actually if, let me see here. I draw them like slightly like bow-legged, like that. I think that would look cool. And then, you know, going back to the double jointed part, you know, there's like joint number 1 here, then joint number 2 there. There. And right there. Maybe. Who knows if this works. See, maybe I won't make it so tiny actually. Maybe I'll give them real legs. Real feet. Then I'll add this. And this is still just a sketch, really. Like, I'm still just sketching here. And then maybe rockets here. And then the arm. I really like this shape actually, so maybe... what if I just like... did the whole arm like that? So maybe like this. Yeah, so I'm still keeping the 70-30 rule in mind. You know, like, this one looks like a person, right? Like, it's the proportions of a person. But I made them look I made them look a little bit more robot-y. With like the chest here. And like the arms and the leg proportions. So yeah, you could really... we're starting to see this like come together here. And maybe I'll add like a wing pattern with that. Just like that. Yeah, so I really like this actually so far. Really like this design. What's my favorite type? Yeah, I really like the old mechas because they're more interesting. So like, let's say the Gundam mechas, like the Zaku, right? It's a classic. I really like the old mechas because they have a focus on just the shape, and they don't rely too much on like, making it as complicated as possible. You know, like everything moves and like, you know, like just simple. Or like the Sasabi. Hold up, how do I draw the Sasabi? Something like this. Because like the old mechas of Gundam, they focus more on the shape, which is why I really like them. Or even something like Optimus Prime. I could draw like old Optimus Prime right now. He has like a really good silhouette. Then his eyes, right? Then he has the face mask like that. He's really iconic. Like, it's so hard to not recognize him. Then his arms, and then he has like the pipes right here. Really good. That's why my favorite mech. Yeah, you could post it on our Discord actually. Like, if you want to share it, just post it on Discord. You could tag me as well. You could @me. And there. Yeah, anyway. Get this out of the way. And I feel like I really like the third one, so we're gonna settle on that one. And now I'm gonna design the face actually. Or actually, let's see here. I'll copy paste you. Yeah, Gundam Samurai. That's actually already a thing. Forgot what it was called though, what the line was called. But it looked pretty cool. And then erase that. Or not erase, like slightly lighten it. And I think it's time for greebling right here. Usually I like to save the face for last actually. So I really like this shape. There. And trying to think of cool ways to make it greebled. Am I left or right-handed? I am right-handed. So maybe I'll make this shape, you know, lots of like room for the arm to move around in. Because I want this to be a really like mobile like mech. A mobile suit. And then okay, maybe I'll tone this down a little bit. And then there, I'll keep the waist. So this is the important part about greebling actually that I forgot to mention. Even though it looks complicated, it does not get in the way of its original purpose, right? So like, where is it? You know, it's still a cube. It still does nothing, but it looks cooler. That's a good good concept, I guess, to keep in mind. So yeah. Remember, when you're greebling, try not to make it get in the way of the actual function. So like, in the shoulder. Maybe if I was gonna draw the inner mechanics here. Draw like this. And there's like a thing attaches to there. Yeah, so this thing I just drew right here. Basically my concept, right, is I want them to be able to do this motion. So like, let's say this is your shoulders, right? You push them forward, and then you push them back like this. So this is called like a butterfly stroke. When you could push your shoulders forward, push your shoulder back, right? So my solution to that was like, I have this circle right here, and then there's a circle right there. So basically it rotates. So I'm gonna draw the circle right here. It can rotate like that. So that could simulate like the arm doing that motion basically. Maybe I'll make this more thing. So I really want to simulate this motion basically, where you could pull your shoulder forward. And it's really common. That's what I saw from like my Gundams. So yeah. A mecha pig. Well, you could still totally like use this video. Like, so let's say the 70-30 rule, you know, you got a pig right here, and then you got, there's a normal pig using the proportions. And then maybe you could make it like a cyber pig somehow. So you could still use the concepts I said in this video, you know. And then like 3D shapes. Okay, let's say 3D shapes. Put like, so maybe it has like 2 parts to it. Like that. I don't know pig anatomy, so I'm sorry. So like that. And it has like cyber legs. I don't know. But you get the picture. You get what I mean. And then, so yeah, this is why I said that, what was it? Sketching is the most important part. Because if you know what's happening under there, then you could pretty much figure out how the rest will go. So right here again, this is double joint. And then maybe I'll make this big. Change my mind. Maybe it's like this. A hand. So it's like an arm covering. Sort of a little greeble there. And then here. Gonna keep it simple for now. And then hand right there. What time is it? Okay. And then the back part continuing on right here with the jets. And then the jets. Yeah, see, I like this wing design way better. Because if I went with like, you know, the first design, it's not gonna look good. It's only gonna look good from the front. But this one looks good from the front, the side, the back. It's way more clean. Also, it looks way more sci-fi compared to I just did like straight up wings. And right here, the pelvis area. So maybe I'll make like a cool shape here. And then there. Also, this is a really good way to practice, you know, your 3D shapes. And then there. Okay, maybe I should make the thigh bigger then. There. And then, doop. I think I'll keep it more or less the same, so there. But maybe I'll make it, okay, I like the jet here. Okay, I think I'm gonna start greebling now. Gonna add like the wing design here. Yeah, I like making this. Yeah, exactly. So that's an important skill to learn. Reference doesn't have to be straight up what you're drawing, right? So like, let's say I wanted to reference like, or I wanted to draw like a joint, you know, like how an arm would move, a robotic arm. You could literally take inspiration from like a doorknob, like I mentioned earlier, or like anything that moves around, you know, anything that pivots. So you could be creative with your reference. It doesn't have to be just mechs that you reference from. So maybe right here. And there. And there. So I really like the shape so far, and then I think I'm gonna start adding like more details. I don't like how exposed this looks actually. So maybe I'll add like a big armor right here. Trying to think of a way to make it cool. Maybe like just a shoulder pad like that, just so it's like slightly covered up. And I'm really saving the head for last here. Maybe actually, I just thought of another one. I'll cover this up. And then there. I feel like it's kind of shaped like Buzz Lightyear actually, now that I look at it. Yeah. I really like Buzz's design actually. It's really good. And then copy paste it. This time I'll erase this. And it's all covered up. And then maybe I'm gonna start adding like wing elements to it. I'm gonna start greebling here. And this is like a thruster right there. So like has rockets there too. And since we know the waist doesn't move, you know, it only like twists around. Maybe we could add some stuff there. Trying to see if that would work. There. Yeah, also another thing, I like to design the head last, just because, you know, the head is the thing that people remember a lot. So I want to design the whole thing before I even like touch the head. So maybe I'll try like, so I have the circle here, maybe I'll try adding like a cool shape to it. Right? It's such a funny word. Like if you look at the Wikipedia article for it, it looks really funny. There's a greebled cube. Maybe I'll add like this sort of thing, like a chin shape. It does sound goofy, that's why I like it. It's like a real word. Trying to think. Because I really want to add this mouth. Making it look like a human. And also the head is always like the hardest part for me. Maybe not. Maybe not like that. Maybe we'll keep like the flat head design there. And then there. Or maybe I'll make this smaller. Yeah, I want to make it like complicated. Doesn't have to be this complicated for you guys. And then, why am I designing the head at the end? That's because you know, like I mentioned before, the head is what everybody remembers, right? It's the face. It's literally the face of your mech. And, you know, it has to embody the whole guy. So, like, let's say, you know, my whole guy is all about wings. So now that I've designed, like, the wings right here, I'm just gonna copy the wings. So now I could just, like, add, like, wings really similar to that. So basically, I like to save it at the end. Because the head, I like to pick parts that I like about every part. So, like, let's say I added like an LED here. So like maybe there's like a glowy part right here. So I'd be like, oh, okay, maybe I'll add like a glowy part here too. And then wings. So basically, I take from everything. That's how I save it at the end. RGB gamer mech. Yeah, that is one of the options. The neon, whatchamacallit, neon mech. Neon and lightweight. And then wonder if I should add like a T. Trying to see what works. Yeah, no problem. Just really good, you know, because like, you know, everybody remembers what the head looks like. Oh, that'd be cool actually. Oh, okay. This is an accident, but it looks kind of cool this way. There's like a face right here. I kind of like, I kind of like that. It has like a charm to it. Maybe I'll make this stick out. Yeah, this is pretty much like the gist of designing mechs. It's designing a simple shape and then just making it as complicated as possible by adding more shapes to it. So that's why I highly recommend it. Learn how to draw geometric shapes. Okay, maybe not. It's not growing on me. And here. My chat and drawing channel. And what if I try doing this, maybe? Or what if the head right there? That looks kind of cool, actually. Instead of it being like the whole head, it's just a visor. Okay, I like that. Okay, I really like that. And then maybe I'll make it less complicated than it already is. There you go. Okay, I kind of like that. I love that, actually. Yeah, this is why you should take your time in this phase. Because you don't know what you would figure out, I guess, from this phase. Try to explore all the ideas you can before you settle on a final one. Right there. So I don't really need it to be able to move around a lot neck-wise, so just need it to be able to look 360 up and down. Maybe I'll move it a little bit forward. A bit bigger. Right there. Okay, so here's another design tip actually. I really like this one because the thing I picture from this is made of like glass, like some sort of glassy material. So maybe I'll try to add that some other places to keep it consistent. Yeah. maybe somewhere here. Yeah, maybe something over here actually to protect it. To protect like the legs here. Okay. And then maybe it even like goes off like this. Goes up. Something like this. This is also like a glassy material. And actually I'll add like a line here, like a simple line. Because I wanted to have like a swivel. And basically what a swivel is, think of like a toilet paper, basically, toilet paper roll. Oh, actually, no. I gotta draw it the right way, with this facing forward. So it's able to like rotate in on itself, right there. So think of the toilet paper roll. And that's basically what I'm adding here. Their arm can now fully rotate 360, just because of this one line that I put. And here, a glass cannon. And then there. Yeah, it's so far. Okay, I think I could add more like the glass thing. Maybe like right here. Wings. Yeah. Actually, I really like this. I think it's time to do the final now. So, there. Erase you. This is it. The moment everybody has been waiting for. I could do the final. Well, actually, maybe I could add more detail. Let's see. Like, for example, I'll make this separate, maybe. Separate this piece. Yeah, even something as simple as like segmenting simple shapes. So like, let's say a circle, right? Okay, it's pretty cool, but then what if it had like level differences? Like this one. It's already like way more interesting. Right there. It's more layered, you know, it has like a nuance, I guess. The word nuance to it. Hold on. I'm gonna add some last details here. Or maybe, you know what? Just to make it look interesting. I wonder if that's a good idea. Maybe not, actually. Let's see. I'm gonna add like pipes, maybe. Like this one. That. Okay, kind of like that. Yeah, this is taking inspiration from Gundam. I really like it when they do this design. And then... oh, maybe it connects upwards, actually. So, we do a little bit of greebling here. I'd like to know. If drawing the human figure only using cylinders... I feel like... we draw cylinders because we keep things simple, right? So when I draw cylinders, actually, this cylinder, you know, it represents, like, the chest, and then the waist. And then I draw this. Draw the pelvis. It doesn't really hinder. It's really good, actually, at making you picture, like, the human body in, like, a simpler form. So it helps you understand better. I wouldn't say it's not helpful. It's actually, like, really good. Okay. Second thought, I'm looking at this. Maybe I'll change this a little bit actually. So maybe clips are on the side, maybe right here, and then clip like that. Okay, stretching. Wait. Oh, what is the thing? That's just my cursor right here. Yeah, I have a personalized cursor. And then here, gonna try to add more detail. Yeah, it is Ina right there. And class. And now I'm gonna greeble. I'm gonna add like panel lines. Very pog. Yes, indeed. She's on break though. And then... Oh, okay. This is a good place to add something actually. I'm gonna add like a kneecap right here to protect like the knee joint. And it'll be made of like the same material there. Then I'm gonna add... Actually, I won't add like an LED here. Trying to see if I could make this work, but let's see. Maybe it's like a wing shape. Okay, I kind of like that more. I'm gonna try to add wing motifs where I can. There, there. There. Trying to see how else I could make it look cool. Times it. Oh no, we only have a few minutes left. Maybe I'll go a little bit over time actually. Yeah, I think this should be good. And I'll start cleaning up now. I don't think I'll do line art though. Maybe... They're really quick. Here. Code Geass Max. Yeah, the nightmare frames. Yeah. Those are cool. I really like their design where like they could kneel down. What is it? They could kneel down and they have like wheels on their shins or something like that. There's like a wheel on their knee and like their ankle. Something like that. That's really cool. And then I really want this colored, so I'm just gonna skip line art. And here. So there's our torso. I'm gonna keep it a very neutral color. And then under here is the waist. Maybe I'll make it like a lighter color. And then... And then the waist. Or actually, keep it the same. There. Okay, maybe I should change that. I don't like the diaper looking design. I'll add like a little bit to it later. There's the arm. Okay, maybe I'll keep it like monochromatic, more or less. Like dual colored. Just cause we're Severely lacking in time, sadly. Yeah. And that's such a cool name, right? Nightmare, but then with night, the knight. And then there. Doot. Doot. Yeah, this is the fun part. So after you, you know, spend all that time sketching, you know, you've done your research, done your homework, you can pretty much just draw, you know. That's why I love doing it this way. You know, get all of the boring stuff out of the way, spend a lot of time sketching, and now you're here. You just draw. How did you make that? Well, the whole video is gonna be archived, so you could watch how I did it. Whoa. And then, trying to see. Yeah, long story short, lots of notes, basically. And the shoulder. Right there. Hello, hello, welcome. And there. And then the other arm. And doop, doop. I'm gonna try to make it quick. What time is it? Okay. Still not overtime. But I'll try to make it brief. Just watching for fun. Well, welcome. Everybody's welcome here. Yeah, I always love it when people come to watch. So maybe I'll use this color. The wings right here. And then there. Oh, right there. I mean, you decide. If you make stuff, I'd say you're an artist, you know. And honestly, that's not something I think about. I just like making stuff. I just like drawing. I don't really think about if I'm a true artist, quote unquote, or not. It's not in the forefront of my mind. Okay. And then go there. Actually, there, there, and 6. And then it. Yeah, you know what? I'll try to keep it, or maybe not. That's harder actually if I don't. And then this is the double joint right here, simply represented there. And then the legs, like that. Yeah, and you can really see, right, while I'm like making the colors, it's really just simple shapes, like nothing too complicated, you know. And then where is this? This is the pelvis, so I'm gonna add you there. Doot, doot, doot. Oh, I should. It's easier to do. Think. And think. And bonk. Yeah, I wish I could have spent more time on like talking about colors, but such is life. And then there. And then the head. Last but not least. Doop. Oh, I wish it wasn't so bright out. I can't see my tablet screen. You guys don't have that problem, so. You color it in before lining the final piece? No. Sometimes I just straight up don't use line art at all. It really depends on how I feel like. Okay, maybe I'm gonna decide to color the visor now. It's like a gold. Like a orangish gold, maybe. There. I don't know, I just really like the lineless line art design. It really works for me. And then head. And doot doot. And so silver piece right there. Doot. And maybe the neck will be the same color. Oh my gosh, I have so many cool ideas, but I'm gonna try to keep it brief. What else am I missing here? There. And then doot, doot. Yeah, maybe I'll just like do quick line art just to make it simpler. Doot. I really didn't want to do line art, but it is what it is. And then doot, doot. And arm. A game that's customizing avatars. Oh, thank you. Yeah, honestly, I don't worry too much if I'm like, oh, am I a true artist? I just know I really like making stuff, and I think that's enough. No need to worry about the details, you know? If you like art, you like art. Simple as that. And then there. Trying to see. Because I really like this part, but I'm gonna try to keep it like. Or you know what? No, there's no time for that. Doot doot. Can make this orange just for the visual interest right here. And actually it's coming along. Doot doot. Doot. Okay, I'll get feel comfortable enough to remove the line art now, or the sketch, or maybe not. Make it lighter. But I think I'm gonna add these orange designs now. Let me separate them. And oh, thank you. Yeah, like I'm supposed to end like a few minutes ago, but try to keep it brief, keep it simple. And then, okay, I gotta draw the fingies right here. Keep it like dark colored. Okay, you know what? Layering. I'll try not to stress too much about it now. Hands. Won't be able to see the hands. Some areas. Okay, let me figure that out. Oh, I'm glad it's been helpful. My main goal here. Also, oh my gosh, I gotta say, we got a banger on our hands. Like, this is a really good design, actually. We're so good. And right there. And then right there. And then the legs. I had the gold. And the reason why I picked blue and gold, actually, it's just a simple complementary color. You know, blue and gold, they just go well together. That's why I picked it. And then the knee pad, not the shoulder pad. Here. Forgot to add the jet. I said there's gonna be a jet right here. Or actually, where is it? There. And then a darker one. Say, so there's like rocket boots. Or like a rocket propeller there. And then on the wings, I gotta make it like stand out. Because the wings is like a big feature. So like right there, I'm gonna add like gold trim. Can never go wrong with gold trim. And I'm gonna add a little bit of context here using line art. There. It's the wings. Yeah, I'm adding this line art because I really gotta keep it separate here. I got two pieces of orange that'll get in the way of each other if I let it. Yeah, it has so many moving parts, but you know, like, just keep it simple for yourself, right? I mean, this is the second time I've drawn a mech in my life. I've never actually like drawn a mech. Secret's out. The jig is up. But I gotta say though, I do like building Gundams. Maybe that's where the experience comes from. And then right there. Wait, I should add the fingers on here. Gonna try to keep it brief. Even though I said that so many times already. Okay, this is the orange layer. Maybe I'll add like a bit of orange on here. Just to make it look more interesting and more cooler. And then on here, I'm almost done. What am I supposed to add? Like, right, the thrusters. Like right there. And then add a little bit of layering right here to imply, like, you know, we work so hard on, like, implying there's, like, mechanics in there. And you know what? To keep it simple for myself, I might just merge it all. Because I like just working with one layer. Saves me the headache. And then... there. Still whips out a banger. Am I gonna name it? Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good prompt, actually. He's very Frenchy. Sorry, I just got to, like, reading chat now. Oh my gosh. I'm so hyper-focused. The never-ending stream. Yes, this will never end. I'm still thinking about it though. What would be a good name? This is like the official wing canvas mech. This is the company mech. I don't know if we have funding for that, but I do want a company mech. And then there. Just gonna add a little bit of shading here, make it more interesting. What am I forgetting here? Yeah, like because I build model kits actually. Maybe that's where it comes from, you know? I really love building Gundam model kits. My favorite pastimes. And then, oh my gosh, it's so bare bones compared to what we worked on. So I'm gonna try to salvage a little bit of the detail we worked on. And right here, I forgot I added like pipes. I'm gonna add that there. Then gold clipping, gold, and then yeah, there's like a thingy here actually. Let's see my line art. I added like this part here. Maybe I'll make it gold. Doop. And trying to see what else I could add context to. Feel like the joints are important, so I'll add more detail to that. Right there. And yeah, I feel like I should have I should have wrapped up earlier, and I think I'm about to wrap up now. So this is basically it. We made our own mech on stream. And you know, before I wrap up, I do want to say that in case you didn't know, Wing Canvas is an online art school and community for art nerds. And I am an instructor on 2 classes right now. It's called what was it? Advanced Cartooning and Anime, and I also do mentorship for a class called Digital Art and Illustration. And there's actually going to be more, so be on the lookout on the website. And if you want to support us in a different way, you know, you could become a YouTube member, or you could become a Patreon to get my art file here. And other than that, I hope you guys had a lot of fun, because I did. Like, I had a lot of fun designing this mech. And yeah, I guess that's it for everything. And I hope you guys have a good weekend. Bye bye!